This is the first time this car is driven in 14 years. The last time we did this, it was a Civic EF. This one, the engine was in a separate car. We don't really know much about this one. We just kind of took it on. He really wanted us to work on it and said he's followed us for years. So really nice looking EG.
It's going to be a series where we start with an EF and a box of parts. Then we get an EG and a box of parts. Now we're going to need someone to bring an EK and just a box of parts.
We're just going to keep working our way through the whole line. I mean, everything's so clean.
It looks like a header.
Okay, there's a lot of things that he has multiple of and a lot of things he just doesn't have at all.
At least he wasn't sure. You might have them all in here.
Yeah, that's it. So we're going to basically treat this like it's our car. You know, that's the way we do things. It's like the best way you could take on somebody else's project. This is real. Some of this stuff is really difficult to source.
It looks just like the EF because it came in with the engine harness just laid in.
It did.
Remember,
yeah.
Yeah.
This is like jonesing for a GSR.
It's a nice engine bay too. Like the harness looks really good. All the plastic stuff, everything's in really good shape.
Yeah. That's such a little motor, isn't it?
Really
when it's only stripped off. All right, so we're starting this. This is one of those projects I said in one of the last videos. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. It pulled this apart in 2010 and it's sat ever since. And it's interesting now it's pulled apart. Harness is still on it. Reminds us of the ZC that got towed here with the engine in the back. But this just got dropped off. And there's an engine in the back in semi-pieces. This engine came completely separate. Engine transmission came in the back of his 9th gen. So we've been laying this stuff out. He didn't really know what he had. He basically just said, hey, here's all the stuff. Right, that's interesting. There's 2 of these. This might be, I think the one on the motor is corroded. He has a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to go through all this and see what he has, what he doesn't have, and order the bits and pieces. Crank pulley. This is a header. Is that a DC header? That's an old school DC ceramic coated 2-into-1 header. Really interesting. Hasmo mounts transmission. This isn't his battery, it's a battery we have. We need to get him one from Honda. We're going to use that as a core because cores are like 20 bucks now. No clutch, no flywheel, no bolts. Distributor there, missing a cap. Rotors there, no spark plug wires. So many little things. Lots of intake manifolds. Many intake manifolds. This is a Civic Si. You don't see many of these. This is old school. And it really is old school because it's sat for so long. And one of the interesting things is going back to see what I used to do 20 years ago. I used to do a lot of these. So the engine is a Civic Si engine, D16 Z6. He bought this. It thinks it's okay, but we're going to look at this, go through it. We're going to put a new timing belt on it just because it's a part. If you don't do the timing belt, it's a lot more difficult in the car. Look how tiny this engine is. The size of my hand. When the intake manifold and exhaust manifold is off, such a tiny little motor. These are those parts he has that are badly corroded. He does have a thermostat, which is good because it's almost certainly stuck. This looks pretty corroded, so we can replace that. Replace that. We'll pull this apart. He does have a new valve cover. We can take a look at that. Oh, that's not a good thing. I think this thing's junk. It's sat for so long. I mean, look at that in there. I mean, it could be rebuilt, but is it worth it? We hate to give this guy bad news, but it's better than wasting time putting this motor in. Take a look at the exhaust, see if it looks... Be a waste of time putting this motor in. The amount of time and effort replacing the parts and putting it in just to find out this motor's junk. Yeah, let's break the news to him. It's almost too nice of a car, honestly, to put a D-Series in. I know it's probably the period correct motor, but then again, the period correct motor was a B, because that's what we put in. Everything got taken out and a B series put in. All right, even though he wasn't really excited to hear his motor's bad, he's actually kind of excited because he wanted to put a B18 in it all along, so it kind of worked out. We're going to do extra little things while I see a new timing belt, you know, clutch, hoses, maintenance stuff, but we're definitely happy of putting a B in it, aren't we, guys?
Yeah.
We are B-series fans over here. All right, so I'm taking the truck. I just have to drive across the state. It's got a little over a quarter of a tank. Everybody now lives in Florida, by the way. All the rest of the states are empty because they all moved here. And because of that, my average gas mileage just dropped a lot because I spend a lot of time just doing this. Once you get rolling, this thing is incredibly good on gas. The GSR is loaded up in the back. We're going to take it back, take it apart, go through it, do all the maintenance things, double check it, make sure everything is happy. All right, I made it. Look at that S2000. Look how beautiful that is. Twin loop mufflers too. Can't wait to show you that. Look how bad that sucker is. The gas tank is just as bad. We've been shopping around. The brakes are shot. That's unbelievable. Look, there's actually chunks. Could make a key ring out of that. Brakes are coming. Bearings are coming because this. See that? See what happens is the axle actually holds these bearings together when you're rolling without axles. This kind of drifts out and it damages the bearings. Sometimes you can tighten them up, but most of the time it doesn't work. Gas tank, we're expediting it. Should be here tomorrow. Timing belt, other parts should be here today, right? We have a clutch in stock.
Yep.
Stock as could be in it.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw a completely stock GSR?
So stock belts on everything. So.
Yeah. Key fob.
These they give me a lot of trouble.
Yeah. As rusty as it is, why is this one coming apart?
As rusty as this car is, everything's coming right apart. And we're about with everything out of it, so I'm happy saying that.
Yeah.
If I had just started, I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, you don't say that. You don't jinx yourself.
No, everything's pretty much off the car, so.
So most of this is just surface rust, so we should be good with this. Hopefully that will come off there. It doesn't look like the hub is too bad. We have a different manifold to go on here. This is the dual runner manifold. If you've never seen one of these, it's actually kind of cool. It has a set of butterflies right here. It has two paths for the air to go. There's one on the outside that's a smaller hole to increase torque, and then a shorter one right here that the butterflies open at a high RPM. It's almost like a second VTEC.
What's cool about these though, if you see one of these at the street races, and that's a little bit thicker,
the nitrous
watch out.
Yeah, I remember that. I think it was nitrous oxide that used to make that.
Nitrous Express. And
yes.
It was a little thing in between here. Put a fuel bar and a nitrous bar in there.
Yeah. View right here, you can see actually how that works. This is vacuum based. See this? That is the butterflies. We're going to put this Skunk 2 manifold and bored out throttle body on it. It's going to look better and of course move a lot more air. It's one that we've had sitting here for a while. These injectors have been sitting for a while, so we're going to clean these. A couple of people have asked me, hey, what do you use to clean your injectors? Well, everything. Injector cleaner. I even use carb cleaner. These should have the filter that will come out. Sometimes that filter will come out easy. There it goes. If you can get the filter out, there we go. That will catch a lot of debris. The new ones don't have these removable filters, unfortunately. The old ones are great because they catch a lot of that junk. But clean these separately. Everything you can find. I mean, soak it in some carb cleaner is one of the best things. And then I want to clean the outside of this injector. It doesn't do anything except just look nice. I'm going to go ahead, clean the outside of it, clean the whole thing, and then we'll put them on the machine and see what they're going to do. All right, we're set up. Everybody seems to like this part, so let's give it a shot. Ready? All injectors are firing at least. So these have been sitting on my shelf for probably 4 years, something like that. And they tend to stick over time. Let's jack them up a little bit. And then we'll actually get a measurement and see what they're doing. Then we'll clean them if need be and check them. Looks like this one's behind a little bit. And that's what I usually do, is you always have one that outflows the rest. Then you've got an idea of which ones you got to work on. And again, I always run them extreme just to get them as close as we can and just keep working on one until it balances out. Let's see where we're at. That's actually really good. That's better than most of the ones that come in here. So when I say carb cleaner. This is carbon choke cleaner. This does a really good job of breaking up the gum in the injectors. I'll spray it directly in the injector, let it sit for a minute and run it, and you'd be surprised how well this does compared to all the injector cleaners that they sell you for the machines. A little bit slower. All right, I'm happy with that. Some of these seals were torn. That was the worst. Often when they get in there for a long time, they dry up. When you rip the injector out, it tears the seal. So we got new seals on there. As you see, cleaned up the outside of the injector. Just looks nice when you see it back in the manifold. Does that look a little bit better? Well, that's all I'm doing now. I've worked late. George has gone home, but he's going to work a little bit later tomorrow. So we'll get a bit more done. We'll get the clutch done tomorrow. When they sit, they tend to stick. So I'm going to let that sit overnight with some WD-40 and then clean it out. Hopefully that thing will work. Go. Well, these are definitely going in the bin. We have all new brakes and new pads and everything to put back on it. This compressor is junk. It was left open.
Sounds good.
It doesn't look that good, does it?
No, it doesn't, but it pumps.
Power steering should be good. We need this power steering pump because it came off the GSR, and we need these GSR brackets. Some of this stuff we're going to use. The pedals, definitely not going to use. I showed you the intake manifold. This was last night. I feel like it's like days have gone by, but anyway. Manifold, we're just going to keep complete. Some of this stuff is just going to get discarded. Some of it's going back on. We're pulling the transmission off right now to do the clutch, and then we're going to do the timing belt and water pump. That's to move in the truck. So best as we can guess, it looks like it's an original clutch, which is actually pretty amazing because these are pretty tight coming out. The whole key tag and things make you feel like an old man on. Definitely needs a clutch, but it's not destroyed, is it?
It's at the end of its service life.
Yeah, it's definitely on its end.
But it's the original clutch, though.
It's pretty impressive. There we go, FX300, and of course, the Nachi bearing. This is pretty normal on aluminum blocks. It looks worse than what it is. So you can pressure wash them, but the problem is this will come back. It's like an electrolysis, but it comes off really easy with a wire brush. Don't use a whiz wheel or a wheel on their drill, because what it'll do is it'll get really shiny spots and dull spots. It'll look way, way worse. But you see this right here? Just hand brush. Nachi bearing. These don't have a slide that comes apart like the S2000, which is a shame. It's an aluminum piece here. And you see actually how nice it is. I just cleaned it up. And of course cleaned the splines too, but this doesn't have any wear at all. Of course your rotary grease, we're almost out of it, so I'm having to rub the store. This is how we sell it. You can buy it in the store, but your rotary grease, that's the stuff you gotta use. This is the single cam bracket. We're gonna have to change it so we can use the single cam compressor. The bracket that we're going to use is the Del Sol bracket. It bolts to the motor and then allows the compressor to bolt to it, but we're going to go ahead and refinish it so it looks better than that. This isn't the one, but when you see the new one, you're going to think it is new. This is the thermostat that came out of this motor, and it's in really good shape, but he bought a new one for a single cam, and it's the same part number, so we're going to go ahead and install that. This tool is something we made probably 20 years ago in a pinch, and we've used it ever since. It's basically a nut that fits in the hex and then some supports, and we still use it today. We hope so anyway.
Try to.
These tend to be really, really tight. Now a gun won't break it loose. They usually go with a bit of a bang. Is it locked in there?
Yeah.
Oh, they go with a creak, not always a bang.
Yeah.
Look at this piece of history right here. Look at that. So that part is a nut, and then I basically cut 6 pieces and extended it. And again, this is one of those tools that you make when you're in a rush because you just need it, and then it works, so you just roll with it. He has the hashboard mounts from the single cam, so they're all going to bolt on. It's got the newer timing side mount, so it has the recess, which is so much nicer because it used to have those big ugly bolts on there. They used to be, you know, sitting right up there. They just looked awful. These are so much cleaner. I like that. It's nice not to worry about the valve cover. We could just put the power steering pump right on top of it. This is the single cam pump. It won't fit the motor. We do have the GSR pump. The valve cover is going to make such the difference when it's changed. Same as cap rotor. We've got pretty much everything to change over. We'll put a stud in right here so we can put the mount in. Look at that. There's nothing more sexy than a B motor in an EG. I know you K guys are going to go, no, no, no. We want a K with 6,000 clearance between this and a suitcase over here. No, I love K series. I just love the B motor. Look how sexy that looks in there. Wait while you see the finished valve cover. There's only one place in town we could get a gas tank from, and luckily they got it overnight, so they should have it in stock. We'll go get it. Ooh, it's silver. You know what? It's not rusty though. Sweet. We can't get one of these anywhere, and we don't have any, so we're gonna have to kind of do our best to restore this one. Shift linkage time. We're keeping his shifter. He has an aftermarket shifter.
Trying to.
That is the reconditioned fuel pickup right there. That's actually a lot of time and scrubbing, but definitely looks passable. Even though this radiator is pretty good shape, it's a single cam radiator, so one way to see that is their smaller inlet and outlet. The hoses are quite a bit different. If you use the radiator, get it from a 95, 96 Del Sol VTEC, or you can get it from the 99 Civic SI. It's the same size. Now check this out. This was the cat that was on the car. Obviously it's been hollowed out, but it's got this like weird shape put into it. Never seen anything like this before. It's got a really, really thick weld on it. I mean, that hole's like maybe an inch and a quarter. So not only is it not a cat, it's not going to flow either. So we can't put that on. It's going to kill the motor. And of course, you know, you're going to have that rotten egg smell out the tailpipe. There we go. We got a Cook's high flow cat. These work really well, and they do a good job. They clean up the tailpipe. Of course, it's going to get rid of the smell, but it's going to flow. We've put these on cars and made plenty of power, so there's no reason to run them open and run a test pipe. These are the way to go. Keep it clean. It also keeps the sound down, and you know, keeps the smell down. Remember, the brakes were bad. George just put that together. It's got new wheel bearings in there too. Both bearings were trash, so new pads, rebuilt the calipers, and new rotors, and of course the GSR axles. We are replacing the fuel filter. That is almost certainly no good. There's our new one right here. So 14, get out the shadow. 14 and a 17, and then a 10 holds on the bracket. LHT Olympics. Oh, yes. So there is an airplane up there somewhere, but because the sky looks like England, you can't see it. But look at that, a little bit of blue sky right there. So we're working late. I'm gonna go run to Wawa and go get us a couple of burgers. If only we could share that smell.
Well, you can't smell this, but just Google lawnmower repair shop in your area and go down there and just walk in the front.
Okay, that's probably pretty accurate because that's what the whole shop smells like right now. Look at that. Ugh. Yeesh. Yikes. Yeah, it's as bad as the burnt hatch. So that's stuck. So do you want it full or do you want it empty? Oh, it's moving now.
There you go.
So I'll show you this. We're going to be getting out of here in a minute, but this cover comes off and it's like a potentiometer in there. This is that sending unit I was trying to show you last night. This little brass piece is supposed to be connected to that arm, but as this moves up and down, it moves this brass tab along here, kind of like the slot cars. Back in the day, you squeeze it and it changes the speed. Well, that's what that did. It's in such bad shape, and that part all separated. We're just gonna have to put it back together with the seal and say either time it, fill it up, or replace this at another time. New hangers are on, new gas tank is in, exhaust is mounted, new cat is on, O2 is in, caliper on this side froze up completely, need a whole new caliper. Brakes are on, bearings are on. We're gonna go down, put the radiator in, put fluids in it, We still need a throttle cable. We're getting close. So the master doesn't work at all. I just pulled the fitting out completely and we just tried pumping it. We got fluid in here, it's completely dry. So one more component that's not working.
Unlock the power of choice with the new Wawa Rewards.
First, Philip, we got 5.2 gallons to put in it, and then he's gonna have to fill it up and keep track of it. Intake is on, new master is in, clutch works now. Time to change the valve cover. Ready? What do you think? Good choice of valve cover? New calipers here. Think you're gonna tell which one's new? All right, fluids flushed, everything's topped up, new caliper is on, brakes are bled. Hopefully the brakes are good. The only thing we didn't replace is the master, but it seems to be working okay. We'll double check everything, then we'll close that up. We're actually close to ready to start it. I think it's time, George. I still need to add the knock sensor wire, which is that one right there. It's missing on the back side of the harness. See there? It's like as fresh as you could get. Fresh tank, fresh gas, fresh filter, cleaned injectors. All the lights work. Does the check engine light cycle?
Yeah, it cycles.
All right, I'm ready. So it runs a little bit. Ran a little bit. Got to break out the Integra service manual. This is probably older than some of you guys watching. I got this in 1994 when the car first came out. So we're going to go through that and check it. We're going to double check for codes. This is a piece that my friend Steve made for me probably 20 years ago. He got the two plugs from a junkyard and said, there you go, you can use it to check your codes. And I've used it ever since. This thing's very important. It turns out, code 14, I extended the wires for the idle valve and let it sit overnight and cleaned it with WD-40 and didn't plug it in. All right, we're plugged in. Yeah, I checked these, by the way, they are correct. All right. That makes a big difference, doesn't it? Let's let it idle for a second. We're gonna check the power steering. This is the GSR power steering pump. It looks to be a little low. If you're changing this or adding it, make sure you use Honda power steering fluid. It has to be the Honda stuff. You can't mix it. If you mix it, you'll screw it up. We're going to keep an eye on that. We'll switch the heat on. So far. That sounds good. That sounds great. You gonna rev it? Wow, it sounds like 1995, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, wow. Before we go any further, is the heat on, George? Let's run that knock sensor wire, which is the red with the blue. It's going to run into the car. It was a VTEC car, so VTEC is hooked up. Pressure is hooked up, factory, so that's nice. We have one wire to run. We might be asking a little much. You want to hit the AC button? See what it does?
The compressor turned on.
Oh, unbelievable. Tell me if it's getting cold. The compressor's running. You might.
The heat on, so it's gonna take a second.
Just the fact that it clicked, you know?
It means everything works.
It means it works. Pedal button broke. All we've done is use the brakes, and it's broke. Luckily, we keep them in stock.
Yeah.
Brake master cylinder. Surprised to find out that that's no good. It's spongy. We've got a new one to go on there.
So it's a zero offset wheel. You pull those off and it just sits there.
So it doesn't
balanced.
lean.
Yeah.
It doesn't lean or flop any which way.
Damn that. You forget wheels can be this heavy.
It's the opposite of lightweight wheels.
It's like you're taking the wheels off your truck.
It is. But at least with my truck, they're big wheels and big tires. You don't feel bad. EG day right now. We have this car we're just finishing off. Then this car you might have seen on a past video. This video did really well, by the way. It did the Type R motor in this. Right now we're putting a new thermostat in because the car takes forever to warm up. It has a spoon thermostat. So we're going to change that, put an OEM one in there. This one's getting a valve adjustment. We put this motor together a couple weeks ago. Now it's settled down. We want to do a fresh valve adjustment, make sure everything's settled in. Look how beautiful this car is. And there's your part number right there. Genuine Honda B-Series thermostat. Opening at 78C. All right, new thermostat is in, fresh coolant. We're gonna look at the app, see if it comes up to temperature, because this would run cool all the time. Let's see if the Honda app works. Is it working? Oh, good. So we'll let it warm up. You just got a different screen set up? Okay, you got a few different screens. This was the screen I would put on last time and it wouldn't work. Like nothing works. It sucks, the app used to be so good. Don't believe in this MPG, by the way. If that one does come on, it'll tell you you're doing like 80 MPG. Nice, it does. So knock sensor's wired up. Engine is essentially done. Just got to install that guy right there. Again, really common Honda issue. And then the brake lights will be fixed. Then we'll go test drive it. Wheels are back on. Not my favorite wheel. I thought they were cool for a second, but not after I picked them up and found out they weigh as much as I do.
I thought I had heavy wheels on my car. They're like 24 pounds. These are a lot.
These feel about as heavy as me. So yeah, we're gonna take it for a test drive, but first off, I need to move my car. You want to hear this car? You do? If you guys have followed any of our channel, you'll know what I've been doing with this. I'm not even gonna say it. Ready? In love. Fantastic. Doesn't sound like a bass speaker in the car behind me. It's beautiful. Talking of Civics with a bass speaker behind me, Georgia's about 20,000 watts in Uncle Ray. We'll go up down the street. Look at that thing. Do you guys think it was going to look like that? I didn't. I thought it was going to have a single cam in, which I wasn't excited about. Yeah, finish the week with a B18 C1. This is the first time this car is driven in 14 years. It's been parked in a garage, rusting away. It is so good to see. We'll put some life in this car. So we're braking in the clutch. Don't expect any crazy hot rodding. But you know what? We do have to engage VTEC. Or as the cool kids say, pop VTEC.
Can I pop it or?
You gotta pop it.
Pop it, okay.
Yeah, well, no, I'm kind of old. I gotta say engage VTEC. So I'm gonna follow him down to the road and let's listen to VTEC. With better wheels, it would look better. It'd have more clearance. Guys, I can't tell you how many times I stood here and seen Civic EGs come and go from my shop. Keep in mind, I opened in 1996 in this location. So what's that? 28 years? Holy crap. Didn't realize it was that long. 28 years and still having fun. All right, game on. Come on, VTEC. Whoa, it's VTEC, spins the tires. So we started the week with a car towed in we really knew nothing about, a separate car with an engine and a transmission and a few Tupperware bins full of bits and pieces, and turned out the motor was complete junk. Talked to the customer said, well, you know what, the GSR was my dream all along. If that's something you can make happen, let's do it. So we pulled out a bunch of tricks out of our hat. We got the motor, we did all the maintenance stuff, ran into issue after issue. Everything we touched on this car was either rusty, broken, didn't work. We had problems with the brakes. We had problems with the clutch. The gas tank was rusted out. Everything that could be bad was pretty much bad, so it was all replaced. But now, what a fantastic car. This still has some potential to be even better. But whatever style you choose, make sure it's functional and it fits what it's supposed to do. Make sure it fits within the fender. Make sure it doesn't drag everywhere. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you got some ideas from it. Hopefully it motivated you to work on your car. This is still a passion of mine. I mentioned I started in 1996. And if you meet me, you can talk to me, ask me the same question. I love this just as much as I did back in 1996. I'll do this forever. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, don't forget, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the share, and we'll see you on the next video.